Guys, Michigan State both had phenomenal seasons. Who do we think is closer to a national title?
Ooh, Jeff?
Well, to me, it's Michigan. And I'll say this. Considering how far ahead of the spectrum they are in terms of already having an established not only brand currently and before Jim Harbaugh, but quite frankly, it's going to take Mel Tucker a year or two to get more talent. And he did a great job this year through the transfer portal. But let's look at the reality. This year, 2022 recruiting classes. This year, Michigan has the 9th best recruiting class for 2022 compared to State. They are ranked at 21st. Now, they will get better, but the reality is they're ranked behind Arkansas and South Carolina. So if you believe in Mel Tucker, which I do, I think he's a great head coach, and you think he's closer to a national championship, that's your opinion. Mine, I think Michigan has obviously the brand, and they just made the college football playoff. It's a great selling point. Jim Harbaugh, if he stays, I don't know, man. It's pretty tough, and I think they're not only closer, but Mel is just a little bit behind. Although Mel has defeated Jim. We get it 2 years in a row now. I just think in terms of getting recruits, and now with the NIL, and now you're going to have to start really paying these guys. Boosters are big, very important, and Michigan State has some pretty rich boosters. So we'll see, but to me, it's Michigan, man.
Let me
I'm
ask you
stick by
this.
it.
In 3 years, who's closer to winning a national title?
Hopefully, I mean, if Jim isn't...
I'm asking, no, just...
I'm going to say
direct.
Jim. I'm going to say Jim because he has to.
Okay, 5 years.
Which hopefully Jim has already won one. I mean, Jim has to get there, man. If in 5 years Jim has won one and still 1 or 2 Big Tens, I mean, come on, dude. What are we doing here?
Well, again,
what are we doing?
Who can get and win a national championship?
I'm sticking.
And I don't know why anybody can sit up here, honestly. I don't know why anyone can even think that Mel Tucker's not on his way.
No.
And maybe he is. But for me, I'm going with Mel Tucker.
You think he's closer?
Yeah.
The question is closer.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're basically
11
saying,
win season, year 2. Technically, I would consider it year 1. And guys, the atmosphere in that locker room, just pay attention, guys. Pay attention. Pay attention to the journalists, the guys covering the team on a beat. The same coach that you see chopping in the locker room, giving some of the best motivational speeches I've ever heard of in my life, is the same guy flying a private jet with a cigar in his mouth, recruiting players. Guys, I'm telling you, Mel Tucker has come in with the same swag, I could argue, that Jim Harbaugh came in. Now, different brands, different levels, absolutely. But Michigan, this was your opportunity to get to a national title game. Are you going to win in Columbus next year and go back to the Big Ten title game and go back to the college football playoff? That's a tough ask. Even with J.J. McCarthy.
You think Michigan State's going to?
I'm not saying next year. But who's closer? Based on the trajectory, I'm going Michigan State. I really am.
So hold on. Let me get this straight.
Go ahead, ask me what you want.
It's tough because I don't want to this is not disrespecting Mel Tucker, but you're putting your faith in a guy. 3rd year total coaching. His first season, double-digit wins. And now he's never made a playoff, obviously.
Yep.
Never won a Big Ten, never won any of that.
Yep.
And this is, again, no disrespect. You're confident he's closer.
He can chop off my ligaments. He can chop off my limbs. I'm all in on Mel Tucker. I'm not joking, guys. This guy, look, they hit a home run. They did. And that's the thing I don't want to get twisted. With
they
Jim,
did.
Look,
they
Jim Harbaugh is a phenomenal coach. Exceptional. Would get a job anywhere if he left Michigan right now. I don't have a problem with Jim Harbaugh. I love what Michigan looks like next year. J.J. McCarthy, Donovan Edwards, Andrew Anthony. Hopefully the defense can recover. 2nd year under Mike McDonald. He'll get his, more experience as he goes. Michigan aren't going away. But who I'm more confident in? I'm going to be more confident in the guy that can pull more recruits out of the South than anybody in the Big Ten outside of Ohio State. That's different. I'm going to invest between Michigan and Michigan State. I'm going on Mel Tucker. It took him his 2nd year to deliver 11 wins.
Also,
11 wins.
Mid-20s recruiting class, which is important.
11 wins.
It'll get better, I'm sure, but you need good players. And I get he's the best recruiting in the South, but at the end of the day, especially with the NIL, I mean, you're going against SEC teams at the end of the day. And he may grab some recruits, but
I don't want to diminish. Again, I'm not diminishing Jim Harbaugh here because I've been a big supporter of his all season. Having said that, Mel Tucker won 11 games in his 2nd year. You haven't won 11 games up until your 7th.
They got 10.
Now, yes, they had the Heisman front runner. Yes, I know there's so many factors, but you know what? You bring in any other coach, Michigan State win 3-4 games last year and the year prior. They're not a good football team. Now they are. Guy gets it. The guy understands how to control a locker room, how to coach up his players, motivate them. He understands marketing and branding so well. The whole chop thing, that is a signature aspect of the Michigan State football program right now. You go to any fanatic Spartan, I'm sure they have an axe in their house now, or at least a picture of one. I'm not joking. So yeah, who am I more confident in? Why wouldn't I be so confident in Mel Tucker?
No, and that,
in a 5-year window, where I have to keep in mind that, well, if Harbaugh doesn't win a Big Ten, let's say in the next 2 years, well, he goes into year 10 with 1 Big Ten title.
but
Is he going to go take an NFL job, or is he just going to retire? Now, look, I mean, that's all speculation.
Yeah.
But let's say these guys stick it out for the next 5 years. Who am I more confident in? Mel Tucker.
let me ask you this.
Because I don't know what the ceiling is of Michigan State. It hasn't come to me yet.
But
I think 2 Fridays ago we saw the ceiling for Michigan. Go ahead.
We talk about the importance of having a quarterback, right? And especially in college football. Dabble Sweeney, like to bring that up. Peyton Thorne for Michigan State. Dabble Sweeney, what did he win his first 7 years? We talk about this all the time.
Multiple ACC titles. Okay. Yeah, I think 4 or 5.
Okay. So now we're at the point now where he finally gets a quarterback. Mm-hmm. They finally make that jump. They get to a national championship. They kind of have they kind of have that dynasty until they lost, obviously, Trevor Lawrence. How important is it to get your quarterback? We think J.J. McCarthy's the guy. I'm assuming after J.J. McCarthy, you land another top recruit. Not saying Michigan State isn't going to do that, but they're closer. They have at least the quarterback. And I'm not saying Peyton Thorne is trash. The guy's a great quarterback. I just think not only that, I'm not concerned about the last 7 years. I think people like to bring that up. If he hasn't did it in 7 years, he's not going to do it. Well,
I think we killed that narrative this year.
Yeah, like in my opinion, I think he's closer because I think JJ, I'm confident in him. And if he gets the quarterback and he at least forms a formidable team around it, I don't know. They're closer right now.
This is what people need to understand. How much better can Michigan get at recruiting? They just had their best season under Harbaugh. They had the 15th ranked recruiting class, I believe.
Yeah, but they had a lot of holes on that team. I mean, they don't have a number 1 wide receiver. They don't have a quarterback.
But here's where I'm going to go with it.
Michigan State had 2 of them. I mean,
Michigan State, first 11-win season. He gets another 10-win season. Hell, another 11-win season. You're going to be seeing players that you've never seen at Michigan State. And again, maybe I'm a bit too hyped currently on Mel Tucker. Sure. But I see it. And you guys lose your fandom for 1 minute, please, and your alma mater and all this crap. Lose it for 1 second. Jim Harbaugh finally beat Ohio State, finally beat the arch rival, finally got past them and won the Big Ten. And he got to the national semifinal, and they didn't look good.
Yeah.
Now, does that diminish their season? Absolutely
No, because they had flaws on that team. Yeah.
But they're losing their 2 best players on defense. They're losing the best player in the secondary on defense, Daxton Hill. They're losing 3 players.
Who's Mel Tucker losing? Heisman candidate.
Yeah, a running back.
Okay, a running back now. He's just
understand.
A running back. Like, you can't just say he is a running back.
Again, he's keeping a majority of his players. He's keeping the wide receiver, who's one of the most dynamic players in football.
Naylor's leaving, yeah.
Naylor's leaving, but Reed's staying.
Yeah, Reed's staying.
So, yeah, excuse me. Again, in 5 years, Mel Tucker's train right now is like this.
It is. Projection.
And with Michigan, yes, it has been going up, especially because they finally delivered. But it didn't translate in the recruiting class. Look, J.J. McCarthy's your future. If he can do it, no one will be happier than me.
I'll be happy. I'll be happy for either one. I mean, these guys are both have great projections.
Who's closer to beating an Ohio State, getting to a Big Ten title game, and going to a natty? I don't know. I think I saw the ceiling of Michigan against Georgia. I think I saw their ceiling.
I don't
Now, with
think
J.J. McCarthy, could it be slightly higher? Absolutely.
With more talent and wide receiver and a better quarterback?
But that's
definitely.
not how they recruit.
But that's how they're going to have to. And again, at least they got a better quarterback.
They've been saying they have to since they hired the OC. Like, you can't out-recruit some of these teams. And for me, I feel like Mel Tucker can absolutely do it. More so than Jim Harbaugh. Maybe I'm on drugs this morning.
And people talk about, listen, I see Jeff doesn't understand Mel's recruiting monster, and I get it. Mel Tucker is behind Arkansas and South Carolina this year in recruiting classes. Maybe next year, and he's going to get better. But actually, guys act like he has a top 7 recruiting class this year. Like, it's going to take some time.
Yeah, but
for him
that's
to
where
creep.
the ceiling comes into play, right? Because when Harbaugh came in, it was right away. top 5 recruiting classes, top 7, top 8. And he stopped delivering, and the hype machine kind of went down, and now you're seeing average recruiting classes that don't deliver national championships. How do you get there? You got to finish top 7, top 8.
Mm-hmm.
You're telling me in 3 years Mel Tucker can't get there if he continues the success he's having? Absolutely. I like Michigan State moving forward. Whew. Maddie, as a Michigan State girl herself, I know you're going to say Michigan State, but you got to tell me. Where are we going here?
Honestly,
Mel Tucker, Jim Harbaugh.
it's a tough one. Would I love to say Mel Tucker? Absolutely. Do I think he's on track to do great things? Absolutely. I do think Jim Harbaugh will get there first. But, man, I don't know. It's
not like you're wrong either way. Like, I feel like
Right.
that's the thing. Like, I mean, if you like Mel Tucker, you like Mel Tucker. It's how you feel. I mean, maybe I'm a little biased, but no bias. We like Jim. We
Jack,
like Mel.
I'm telling you right now, Jack, before we go to break, if Cade McNamara is starting next year, you're going to see Angry Adam for a good 14, 15
God.
weeks. And I'm going to have my pitchfork. I'm going to come up here dressed in weird costumes, and I'm going to be calling for the head of everybody at Michigan. You do not sit that kid next year. You do not. Next year, if it's going to be quote-unquote your down year, JJ gets every snap.
Yeah.
In his junior year, he tries to lead you to the title game. Don't mess that up. Oh, my goodness, Jack. I hope that's not the case.
Well-
No, Cade McNamara can kick rocks.
Yeah, he
We've
can.
seen enough.